Have you ever stopped to think about why some people seem to attract money effortlessly, while others spend their whole lives working hard and never manage to move forward? You work, you try, you pay the bills, you save a little at the end of the month, but the money just disappears. And then comes that uncomfortable thought, is the problem the system, or am I doing something wrong? Bill Gates, the man who built an empire from a garage, gave a piece of advice years ago that almost no one understood. But that advice is exactly what separates those who get rich from those who spend their entire lives running in circles. He said, "People overestimate what they can do in 1 year and underestimate what they can achieve in 10. It sounds simple, but behind that sentence lies a brutal truth about why 99% of people remain trapped in financial scarcity. Most don't even realize they're stuck in an invisible cycle. And worse, they think they're doing everything right." Think about it. Since childhood, we've been taught to follow a script that seems safe. Study, get a job, work hard, save a little, and wait for success to come. But Bill Gates calls this script the perfect trap. Why? Because it trains you to think like an employee, not like an owner of assets. While most people work for money, the rich build systems so money works for them. And it's not about luck, inheritance, or genius. The real difference lies in the mindset. The average person thinks about the next paycheck. The rich think about the next system. One seeks stability. The other seeks freedom, and it's exactly in that difference that the secret of wealth lives. Bill Gates often says, "If you are born poor, it's not your fault. But if you die poor, it is your fault." That sentence may sound harsh, but it carries one of the greatest truths about financial mindset. He's not talking about merit or privilege. He's talking about the ability to build. While most people want immediate results, to get rich in 6 months, to live off passive income in 3 steps, the true builders play the 10-year game. They understand that wealth is not an event, it's a process. It's not about doing something once and earning a lot, but about doing something well long enough until success becomes inevitable, and that's exactly where the mistake lies. The one that keeps 99% of people trapped in poverty. Most believe that working harder is the way to earn more. But Bill Gates warns, it's not effort that makes you rich, it's the direction of your effort. He calls it the wrong ladder. You can climb very fast, but if your ladder is leaning against the wrong wall, you'll realize too late that you were climbing toward the wrong place. Working hard on something that doesn't bring you closer to financial freedom is exactly that. You climb, you sweat, you struggle, but in the end, you're still in the same place. While some are busy climbing ladders, others are busy building their own floors. That's the difference between a job and a vision, between survival and construction, between those who work for time and those who make time work for them. And that's exactly where the turning point begins, the shift that made Bill Gates go from being just another young programmer to becoming the man who redefined the concept of wealth and opportunity in the modern world. Bill Gates often says that wealth is a matter of mindset, not a bank balance. And when he says that, he's not just referring to money, but to the way you see the world, opportunities, and especially time. The difference between those who prosper and those who remain trapped in scarcity is that the first group understands one simple thing. Money is a consequence, not an objective. Those who chase money live tired. Those who build something valuable attract money. That's why Gates repeats a fundamental rule. If you want to get rich, solve problems. The bigger the problems you solve, the greater your reward. While most people waste energy trying to save a few cents, great creators are thinking about how to create value for millions of people. That's the essence of an abundance mindset. And that's where everything changes. Think about how most people act. They work 8, 10 hours a day, trade time for money, and believe they must save to grow. But the secret of those who get rich lies in planting seeds that multiply on their own. Ideas, projects, businesses, skills, and knowledge. Bill Gates always talks about the power of continuous learning. He says one of the greatest advantages a person can have is learning faster than others. If you stop learning, the world will pass you by in less than a year, and he proved it in practice. For years, while the rest of the world was just using computers, Gates was studying how to make them communicate, share data, and work in networks. While others saw machines, he saw possibilities. That's the shift. The rich don't look at the world as it is. They look at what it can become. And that's where another powerful principle comes in, one that Bill Gates still follows today. The power of leverage. The average person believes that to earn more, they must work more. But Gates understands that the secret lies in working smarter, using time, technology, and people intelligently to multiply results. He sums it up in one simple sentence: if your business depends only on your effort, you don't have a business, you have a job. Harsh, but true. And that's exactly why 99% of people never achieve financial freedom, because they remain trapped in a model of linear effort. They work, earn, spend, repeat. Meanwhile, the top 1% use the power of leverage to multiply their impact and income. And the most interesting part? It doesn't depend on being a billionaire or getting lucky. It depends on one decision: to stop thinking like someone who's trying to survive and start thinking like someone who's building. Bill Gates never set out to get rich. He set out to solve a problem no one else could see. And when you shift your focus from making money to creating value, money inevitably follows. That's why he warns, opportunities rarely come twice. If you're not prepared, you'll watch someone else take it. That line is a brutal wake-up call, because most people wait for the perfect chance, the right moment, the ideal contact, without realizing that success doesn't happen when opportunity appears. It happens when you're ready to recognize it. Money follows vision, and vision only appears to those willing to look beyond the immediate. That's why Bill Gates often says the greatest asset any human has is their ability to learn, adapt, and anticipate. While others react to the future, visionaries build it. It's important to note that Bill Gates has always been obsessed with one thing: efficiency. From the very beginning, he never wanted to just work harder. He wanted to understand how to work smarter than everyone else. And that's exactly what separates the rich from the poor: how they perceive the value of time. While most people see time as something that passes, the rich treat it as an asset that multiplies. Gates used to say, if something can be done by someone else, it's because your time is worth more than that task. That may sound arrogant, but it carries a powerful principle: selective focus. The wealthiest people in the world don't do more things, they do fewer things. But the right ones, they understand that every minute spent on something that doesn't generate learning, connection, or results is a minute wasted. And that's one of the biggest mistakes 99% of people make. They waste the most precious asset they have: time. Gates understands that time is more valuable than money, because lost money can be recovered. Lost time never can. That's why he often talks about the concept of time compounding. Similar to compound interest in investing, every hour you invest in learning something new, creating, experimenting, failing, and trying again, that effort compounds over time. It may not look like much at first, but after a few years, that accumulated knowledge starts producing automatic results, just like money that earns interest on top of interest. And that's exactly why he's always advocated for constant learning. Even after becoming a billionaire, while many relax once they've achieved success, Gates does the opposite. He increases his learning pace. He reads, observes, questions, and surrounds himself with people who challenge him intellectually. He often says, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. That mindset explains why he remains relevant today, even decades after creating Microsoft, because he never settled for being the best. He wanted to understand what comes next. He's always looked toward the future with curiosity, not fear. And this brings us to another crucial point: long-term vision. Most people want to earn fast. They want returns today, rewards now. But Gates always thought in horizons of 10, 20, even 30 years. When he created Windows, he didn't think about selling a product. He thought about creating an ecosystem. And that's the kind of thinking that multiplies fortunes and the thinking that builds legacies. He believes that a scarcity mindset makes people see only the short term. They want quick gains, instant bonuses, momentary relief. But those who think big know that true power lies in consistency, not speed. Consistency, according to Gates, is what separates the talented from the successful, because talent without discipline is just wasted potential, and that's exactly where 99% of people fail. They give up before results appear. He sums it up brilliantly. Success is a lousy teacher. It seduces smart people into thinking they can't lose. That's why he doesn't believe in quick wins. He believes in constant testing, in failing early and learning fast. And that applies both to business and personal finance. If you invest and lose, you learn. If you try and fail, you improve. But if you never try, you stay exactly where you are. And that's where Gates's philosophy becomes a life lesson. There's no such thing as failure when learning is involved. With every attempt, you expand your knowledge, your understanding, your vision. And the more knowledge you accumulate, the easier it becomes to recognize opportunity when it arises. That's why he says luck is nothing more than the meeting point between preparation and opportunity. Those who prepare attract luck. Those who don't prepare call it bad luck. That mindset changes everything, because once you start thinking like that, you understand that money doesn't come from physical effort. It comes from mental clarity. Wealth isn't about running faster. It's about running in the right direction. And the more you understand how time, opportunity, and learning work, the clearer it becomes that your financial life is just a reflection of your mindset. Bill Gates has always believed that the difference between dreamers and achievers lies in how their vision is built. Dreaming is easy. Anyone can imagine a better life, a successful business, a different future. But most people stop at the first obstacle because they never learned how to architect that vision. Gates often says the secret isn't in thinking big, it's in thinking big with details. Having a vision without structure is like trying to build a skyscraper without blueprints. The foundation collapses at the first gust of wind. That's why Gates always treated his goals like engineering projects. First, he imagines the final result with almost photographic clarity. Then, he breaks the path into pieces so small that anyone could execute them. And finally, he applies brutal discipline, total focus on one thing at a time. He believes that attention is the new oil. Whoever controls focus controls the future. And that's one of the biggest mistakes most people make, trying to do everything all the time and doing nothing well, while many scatter their energy across dozens of ideas. Gates focused on a single mission, putting a computer in every home in the world. It seemed impossible in the 1980s, but he saw the future with a clarity few dared to imagine. And the most impressive detail is that he didn't just believe in that vision. He planned as if it were already real.